You're listening to the world's smartest podcast network.
When I go to Sacramento, I will pump up Sacramento.
Some say the news is fake. Others say it's real. These two don't have the time to check. Instead, Turner Sparks and Michael Ira Kaplan turn to comics stationed around the globe to be their eyewitness reporters so that you can know what's really going on. This is Lost in America.
All right, everybody, welcome to Lost in America, episode 218. My name's Turner Sparks.
And ich bin ein Michael Kaplan.
Whoa!
Hey.
Busting out the German.
Here's my German. That's all I got.
You can find me at turnersparks.com, at Turner Sparks on Instagram. You can find Kaplan at Cap in America on Instagram. Also, this show is at lostinamericapod.com. Lost in America Pod on Instagram. Kaplan, on the show today, we have Stefan Danziger. He is a German comedian coming to us all the way from, we actually didn't ask where, somewhere in Germany. We'll find out
Germany.
in a few minutes.
Deutschland.
We're learning about Angela Merkel today, Cap. I don't know. She's been in our world for a very long time. I was just off air. I was equating her to the 90s Britpop band Blur, in the sense that
Life.
we knew the Woohoo song, we knew the big things, but we didn't know much about them, but they were bigger in the rest of the world. And that's what I think Angela Merkel is in the United States. We know she exists. We know she's out there, but we're going to get into the details today. But Cap, before we do that, let's get to how people can support this show. So this show's free. Can you believe every single week for 4 years we've been giving this out for free?
Highway robbery, if you ask me. But we've signed a contract. We agreed with Apple. We'd do it for free. So
that's why you're currently broadcasting from your daughter Ruby's bedroom.
I don't have an
free
office.
Don't pay the bills. We can't buy a studio on free.
I mean, I pay her rent, so it's not exactly free. But yes, that's the point.
Yeah, but it's subsidized. You live in public housing.
Exactly. We need money, is what you're trying to say.
We need to get Kaplan out of the projects, is what we need to do.
Get me out of the projects. Get me out of my daughter's room.
Get him out of his daughter's bedroom. And the way we do that is patreon.com. Patreon.com/Lost in America. Now, there's multiple people. Some of you are listening right now, and you're like, you know what? I just like those guys' show. I want to give them money. Well, that's where you do it. Patreon.com. $5 a month, $10 a month, 15, 20, whatever you think we're worth, throw to us so we can keep doing this show, so we can get Kaplan out of public housing.
Exactly.
Now, there's other people who go, you know what? I'll give him money, but I want something for that. I'm not giving him money for free. And good. Hey, we have an answer for those people too. We do 3 extra episodes a week. It's just you and it's me and Kaplan doing Live from the Bunker. It's a half-hour straight comedy show talking about our lives. We talk about everything that's going on in New York City, in quarantine, in Kaplan's kids' schools. And sometimes we have on Lost in America style guests, former guests, to give us a quick hitter on some breaking news event. Last week, we had William Childress back on, the Myanmar expert, the world's #1 comedian who knows the most about Myanmar.
If that's what it says on the business card.
That's a sentence.
So we did an episode of Lost in America with him, and then there was news. There was a coup. A coup broke over there, and we said, let's do a little bonus for the Patrons. Let's find out what's going on.
A coup, a real one in Myanmar.
Yeah, a real one.
The coup shaman was not present.
No.
Which maybe is why it was successful. But anyway,
successful, yeah.
It happened. We said within a few hours, we got William Childress on the phone line. He explained the whole thing to us over half an hour, and that's a great episode. So that's $5 a month. You get those for those 3 extra episodes a week. For $10 a month, you get merch. You get a Lost in America #1 in Armenia t-shirt. We have mugs here. We're holding up.
Look at these mugs. You can buy these.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
if you're watching on YouTube right now, you can buy our merch. And also, lastly, Drew Freilich, welcoming new Patreon subscriber, Drew Freilich. He went in for $20 a month. He went heavy.
Oh, that's some great tzedakah, Drew. I love it. Thank you so much.
And for $20 a month, he gets his own advertisement on this show once a month. We will say whatever he wants us to say. He writes it down. He gets 30 seconds to a minute. We'll say whatever he needs us to say on the show. Kaplan, now let's get to today.
Yes.
And did I miss anything there? If I did, correct me.
No, I think that was a great summary. I look forward to just reading Drew's copy. Do we know when that's coming? Next week, perhaps?
Well, it's coming very soon. Yeah, he's teased it a little bit, and he said he has a comedy project going on out of Detroit, where he lives.
Okay.
Detroit, Michigan. And So he wants to advertise that. I don't know. It's something. We'll get to it when he gets to it. How about that?
Okay, excited. All right.
Today's episode.
Today we got Germany.
Germany. Merkel. What do you know about Angela Merkel, Kaplan? Let's start there.
I mean, I don't. This is the thing. She, to me, has come up. I feel like the Trump years really shined lights on other people. Everyone was always looking for a hero. So I felt like in the past few years, she became this sort of like, over in America, at least, this kind of resistance-y kind of like, because she stood up to Trump. She was considered, I think people just assumed she was a liberal, and they thought like they just loved her. But she's been around forever. That's what I remember. I remember her from, I remember her from the refugees, remember the
Are you asking me?
Yeah. I remember that was a little bit controversial. She brought over like 1 million refugees from Syria,
into Germany,
Iraq, into Germany. I know it's controversial, but she was around before that. And I was going to say, like, when you like are trying to remember a night and all of a sudden it just goes blank. Like before that, I just remember her existing, like you said, like Blur. Like
she's been around forever, much like the band Blur.
But I didn't know anything about her. It just seemed like, like Germany found themselves a stable leader. They're just going to let her ride off, be the leader forever because she seems pretty sane. That's all I knew about her. But
and I'm glad you stopped there because until now, the reason why we're doing this is she's out. She's she's decided she's leaving in September. They're going to have to pick somebody new. We want to know who that is. What I know about her, very similar to you. I can't add much there. I know that she's kind of seems to run Europe in a certain way. At the little bit, the research I did do, it seems like she's not as super far liberal at all, actually. She's from the Conservative Party, which was surprising to me. But she's a centrist, which is very fashionable now in the U.S. Let's bring in Stefan Danziger. Stefan Danziger, you can follow him. You can check him out, Stefen, Stefan Danziger .de for Germany. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hi.
First of all, where do you live? Second of all, how did we do?
We should have got that.
I live in Berlin. It's very cold outside at the moment.
Okay, coming to us from Berlin.
Ich bin ein Berliner. There you go.
Fantastic. How did we do on that summary of
How's my pronunciation?
2005, I think she initially took office, and she's still there now.
Yeah. She's for a long time, and there were just a few chancellors in Germany who've been that long in office. But there's some things. She's East German. Her father is a priest, or was a priest, so that's pretty special. So a woman from East Germany became the chancellor of Germany is, something special.
Yeah. Should we start there? Because I have questions right off the bat about East Germany. Are you? So how old are you? Were you of age? Do you remember East-West Germany existing?
Well, I was born in East Germany, but I grew up in Soviet Union.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Cool. All right, even more questions.
We tried to escape East Germany, but we took the wrong turn. So
you didn't bring a map.
No,
out of the frying pan.
Like this is going too easy. Yeah. Whoops.
Wow.
So you were born into East Germany. Do you remember that? Or were you
a little bit? Yeah, but then I kind of the East thing, when I came back to Germany in 1994. That was a culture clash because, I had communism a bit longer than the rest.
Yes.
And that was crazy.
Bonus. So what was it? I moved to China my first experience living abroad was in China in 2004. And there was expats from around the world moving there at the same time I was, a lot of people to do business and stuff like that. And I remember meeting Germans and then West and East Germans. And I remember the difference. This was only 10 or 15 years after kind of the reunification. I remember the East Germans I knew who were a little bit older didn't necessarily get all of the pop culture references and movie references and all that stuff. What was it like with the two coming back together?
Well, it's still going on.
Is it still? Okay.
Yeah. It's still, the older generation still struggles with it a little bit. And they compare some older East Germans say it was better in the East, even though it was shit. It's completely shit.
Always is better.
It's completely weird. It's still a bit divided. For example, if you look at the refugee crisis and now Corona, you can still see there are more cases in East Germany than in the West.
Okay.
And there's one area in Germany which is a bit special. That's where I come from. It's Saxony. That's kind of, how I can describe it. I don't know. What is the most hillbilly area in America?
Oh, we've got a lot of them.
Well, yeah, we got a lot.
Alabama.
Well, hillbilly, I would say probably West Virginia.
West
Okay.
If you're just saying people from the hills. But if you're saying people who don't really follow the rules are renegades, I'd probably say Florida.
Yeah, they
Florida.
feel like renegade, but they're not.
That's the Saxony.
Yeah,
that's
that's
where
kind
you're-
of Saxon.
And so are the East
Saxons.
Germans then a little more wild, a little more like almost somehow? How are
They're a
the
bit more
different
against
responses?
the system.
Ah.
They're a bit more against the system, like we're against it, and they are more supporters of weird conspiracy theories and so on.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Because
Do they
here it's the
but there's also reason for that.
okay.
I would say because a lot of people from East Germany think they got fucked up by the unification. So I mean, everything was normal for you, and you had your career, you went to school, and so on. And then after unification, or just before that, they said like, everything will be great, and you will be rich and cool and blah. And then it was not like that. So they're a bit disappointed, and you can still see that there are just a few East Germans in like higher positions in Germany, for example.
I see. So it was
Or
almost
for another example, let's say someone had a house in East Germany, and after unification, some West German came to him and said like, this house is worth 1,000 Deutschmark. And they were like, oh, that's a lot of money. And they're like, yeah, it's a lot of money. Yeah. And they bought it for like nothing. And then after a while, they realized, oh, I got fucked up.
That guy screwed me over, that West German.
Yeah.
But it's my countryman.
sounds like what we did to Native Americans.
Well, that's kind of how they feel, But, they take everything away from us, and now they bring the refugees, and they want to exchange the population and all that stuff.
I see.
So they're more nationalist in a way.
Yeah,
Is that-
the right-wing party got over 30% in East Germany, and like in Saxony, for example.
You mean like the far right party?
Yeah, they're really.
Not like-
They always
not
say like,
Angela.
we are for, but they are.
I
They
guess
are
you
really.
could compare it to Kaplan, the people who I was joking about the Native Americans, but the people who, if you had a job at Ford Motor Company for 50 years, and that's kind of, it's steady, like a steady life. A lot of communism seems to be steady life. Like you're not going to be the richest guy in the world, but you're also
But you
not
could
gonna
plan.
Yeah, you can plan.
You know what you
right?
are, exactly. Yeah.
And what happened, for example, like at the factories in the town when it opened up? Like, was it?
They just got sold for 1 Deutschmark
Yikes! Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
they
became
just- because-
efficiency, right?
because they're not worth anything. It's not profitable, and so on. And they just destroyed everything. So nothing really was left. And now it's changed a little bit. That some areas there's a bit more industry.
And they were being propped up by the government. Is that what it was?
Wasn't really the problem was because the East German government. What's the opposite of privatization? They made everything
The public.
state
They
owned.
owned everything. They owned everything.
State-owned enterprises.
So the problem was how to give it to the right owners back.
yes,
To the people before or just before the end of the Second World War. So that was kind of a bit difficult. And just one example, my grandpa, he was a farmer, and he had a lot of cows, his whole family, and they built it up in the beginning of the 20th century. And then they had 100 cows, and then the Second World War, and they lost everything and started again with 1 cow, built it up again. Then the East German government came and said like, nope, you are a big farmer. It's not allowed because we're communists. It's now owned by us. You can work there, and you have to work there, but it's ours. After unification, they had to buy back their own land.
They had a.
I'm boring. I know I'm boring.
No, it's. So they had to. How many? So they had all these cows still. They still had the farm going, but they had to. really
that was not
pay to get
theirs.
their own
But
stuff.
after unification, they had to buy back their own land.
from the
From
the
the
new
state.
German government. Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
then-
that was pretty,
That must have been frustrating.
and then
That's like the opposite of. That's the opposite of what you go back and you give. It should have been giving it to them. If
Yeah,
anything, had it
but it
beforehand.
didn't happen because it was like, West Germany was pretty fucked up in the late 80s, and unification kind of saved them.
Yeah. Wait,
Because then they got-
East Germany was.
No, West
West.
Germany was in a bad economical situation, and when they got
Oh.
East Germany, it was like, oh, cool, we can
We got cheap labor
sell-
and we can screw people over and
Yep.
That's interesting.
And what happened? Like, I know we'll get to Merkel in a minute, but I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah.
What happened with, say, healthcare, for example? Did West Germany feel like it had to now, or did it? It all became one. So did it now support East Germany financially, or did it rob it, as you're saying?
There was an extra tax, the kind of unification tax that everybody had to pay, but it doesn't exist anymore. So to build up East German cities and so on, but that doesn't exist anymore. But healthcare, no problem.
Yeah.
It was like,
so with Merkel,
not like America.
yeah, we're working it out. It's a slow process.
Well, and Merkel was, at that time, she was in East Germany, right? And she was with a party. She joined a party when they were going to have elections originally. Is that how she got her start? Like,
no, she was a student. When
student?
East Germany collapsed, she was a student.
Oh, she was still a student.
Just
okay.
afterwards, she became a member of the CDU, of the Christian Democratic Union.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's her party.
So her being from East Germany, did that help her in her popularity? But having the almost, I guess that's the question.
It helped, of course, in East Germany, but also it helped because Helmut Kohl, before her was Gerhard Schröder, and before that was Helmut Kohl, and he was for a long time chancellor, and he said she's the one for that job, and she did a good job. So
he was was he the longest serving chancellor in modern times? Him I've heard of too. I should have mentioned that in the opening. He's the only other one I've heard of. Well, not the only other one, but
So skipping ahead till now.
But it also helped that she's a physic. So she has a PhD. So she's a science person. So she's clever, and she's not talking shit and I have to say everything all the time. So sometimes you have to wait. Like sometimes you're in a situation, something happens, and then people ask, Merkel, say something. And then after a while, maybe she says something, and sometimes she just is silent, and then the storm is over and it's fine.
Wow, I feel like that would hurt you. Being smart is not good for American politics.
No,
you can't win.
You always got to say something,
or you got to act dumb. You got to act like you're the common man.
Or for example, when she had the press conference because of Corona, and then everybody's like, "Oh, Merkel's gonna speak. That's special," you know. So like, whoa, oh, shit hit the fan. So
she doesn't speak very often to the nation, is what you're.
No, it's like it happened twice in 16 years.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that maintained popularity?
Yeah.
It's like the allure. It's like a rare car or something.
That's old Hollywood. They say don't have a Twitter account. Don't have social media.
They tell A-list stars don't do commercials. You gotta be special.
If it's important, she says something. If it's not, then come on.
Beneath it.
So how did she maintain? I mean, how did she stick around and be so popular for 15, 20 years? Well, I guess
because
16 years.
All the other politicians look like idiots next to her.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And has she had any strong challengers in the past 15 years?
Nah, not really. No, because we have a lot of parties, with the Green Party, and they have ups and downs, but it feels for me is subjective. It feels they have no straight line. Like we should go in this direction. Then we have the money party. Well, they call themselves liberal, but they're like, hey, you make money, we let you make more money. So that's for a small part for the rich people. Then we have the SPD, the old socialistic party. Socialistic, not in an American way or a communist way, it's just social, but they fucked up in the last 20 years, and they're just going down, down, down. They were a big party 20 years ago. And then we have the new party, the right-wing party. So
what is their actual name? It's called the New Party?
The Alternative for Germany.
Ooh.
That's that sounds scary.
What could
they are scary. I'm glad they're not armed.
Oh yeah, you guys don't have guns? You don't have guns?
No. No, it's pretty hard to get a gun here.
Oh yeah, okay. I remember why. So
you have to go to Yugoslavia to buy some.
Oh, all right. There you go. We know a guy over
the
there.
Balkans, let's say.
Yeah, we got Pejak and
we got a guy. He was on a couple weeks ago.
You go to Walmart.
We go to Walmart. Yeah, it's illegal not to have a gun here.
That's so weird.
No,
we'll never
get in my daughter's bedroom. Let me pull it out now.
When Kaplan was growing up in Pennsylvania, they got the day off for the first day of hunting season.
We did. It's a day off from school. We had a day off from school so that your dads can take you hunting. Yep, that's what they do. And that's when you say hillbilly areas, we have a lot of them. But Pennsylvania,
You used assault rifles or something?
Yeah, you go shoot a deer with an AK.
Believe me, they didn't give me an assault rifle.
No. The average family does not have an assault rifle.
Yeah.
It's shotguns. Single pump.
Yeah, that's what Turner had. So,
No.
but
all right. So genuinely, there was no one who really challenged her. I'm not saying that you agreed with or didn't agree with, but it never even came close that somebody might take the other side, take over.
Even if there was a good challenger, but at the end, even if you don't agree with her, she was like still the best solution. So
yeah,
if you have
and it's a parliament, so she's always forming different coalitions all this time.
Yeah,
is that how it works? Okay,
and it's kind of there's a tactic of that of this conservative party. They do a coalition, and during the coalition, they give all the bad positions to the other party, so they look bad. And when the next election, the coalition partner looks like an idiot, and they get more votes.
When you say bad positions, what does that mean?
Well, we have some ministries where it's like difficult at the moment, for example, and then they give it to, let's say, health or something, or military, and they know there are a lot of problems, and then okay, you solve it, and you can't, so you're an idiot.
So they give the most difficult problems to solve to the people they think they're basically trying to screw these people. That doesn't seem like putting your country first.
Of course not.
Like you would want to take on the toughest. Yeah.
These are politicians, so
that's what Trump should have done. That with coronavirus, he should have said, "I'm going to let my Joe Biden run it," and then, oh look, we have cases. Don't blame me.
Yeah,
and then just blame him. So, why now she's stepping down, right?
Yeah.
My question is why?
Yeah.
If she's had all this
tired.
power, is that really it?
Yeah, I mean, you can visit her. She lives next to Museums Island in the center of Berlin, and they can bring there. Of course, there are 2 policemen in front of it, but she just bought a house, I think 2 or 3 years ago in the south west from Berlin, and she's it's been a long time, and someone else can do it now.
So she's just retired.
I don't.
Yeah. So why? I mean, I think that's also makes her very nice. Looks very nice that she's like, I want to stick to power till I die. I'm gonna do my job. I try to do it, reasonable. And if I think the time is over, so I'm going.
I mean, giving up power is just such a foreign concept to us, unless you have to.
It's not so
America,
power,
you have to.
Yeah. It's not like that. You have power. You have to organize a state, a government, and always try the best solutions for everyone. And it's not about like getting power and money, because as a German chancellor, you don't get much money.
But what about like they say
afterwards you get rich?
That's what I was going to say.
Now she's going to get rich, is what you're saying.
Does she have any history of like how basically every one of our presidents has some money trail of they made money because they did a favor for this guy and then they got that
Not Angela
thing.
Merkel.
Really, nothing.
Yeah, that's weird. We have ministers now, a bit like have dodgy money. For example, our health minister at the moment, he worked in a bank, and I don't like him. He's a douche.
Yeah.
I don't know the words, but he has.
No, we say that too.
That's the word.
Okay.
Is that a German word originally? No,
I think so.
No.
Yeah.
Ein Duschbeutel. That's a German word. Ist ein Duschbeutel. No, that's not. We use fecal words to describe someone.
Scheiße.
Yeah, Scheiße, Arschloch. But he bought 2 houses for over $1 million in an apartment in Berlin. Is like, how you paid for that? Because you are not, with your job. And someone tried to find out what he's, how he gets his money or where he got the money from to buy these houses. And there were some journalists who tried to say how much the houses cost, and they got sued by him. It's not allowed to tell anyone how much the house cost he bought. So that's a bit weird. So we have these people too, but not Angela Merkel. So
Yeah,
there's
no,
no weird
I looked
stories
it up.
about her.
I tried to find it on the internet. I was trying to find some scandals, and it was like the closest thing was somebody blamed her for a suicide because she wrote a letter. It was like there was nothing on her. Like there was no. Yeah. There was really. I mean, she really cleans up well if she does have scandals. So, but yeah, she seems
That's
like.
it.
I'm sure in the
had,
YouTube comments of this, people are going to be going nuts on like random things we missed, which seems to happen every week.
That's what we like to. People go to our YouTube channel if you hate us and just leave those comments. It's still good for us. Good for the analytics.
For example, the chancellor before, Gerhard Schröder, after he lost the election, he went to Russia and became a good friend of Putin, or they kept their friendship and worked for Gazprom, a big Russian company. And, and he's like for this Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which there's like gas going directly from Russia through the Baltic Sea to Germany. He's like supporting that very much. And he was from the Socialist Party, so he's like, "Oh, you screwed us up." So,
but we had read that Germany was going forward with that still, even with Merkel. Is that?
Well, can we explain the pipeline quickly? We're talking about here. Cap, go ahead. Or sorry, Stefan, go ahead.
Maybe he should explain it better than us. Yeah.
So normally gas goes through Eastern Europe. So, for example, through Ukraine. Yeah. And of course, Russia and Ukraine. There's a bit, maybe you heard of it, a war. And the occupation of Crimea. So when they had problems with Ukraine, they couldn't just stop the gas because it still had to go through Ukraine. So because there was a deal between Germany and Russia. So to avoid Ukraine, they just built a big tube pipeline through the Baltic Sea directly to Germany. It's nearly finished. But because of the new things with Navalny and so on, there are more voices saying, no, we don't want that gas and so on.
Yeah. And I know that the United States doesn't want you to have that gas. Biden doesn't want you to have that gas.
You should buy your dirty fracking oil gas.
Hey, that's clean coal. Clean fracking, clean whatever you're talking about. Yeah, but of course, he doesn't want you to have it. I think part of it is obviously we just see Russia as an enemy and we don't want them to, if we sanction Russia and you guys don't, then the sanction doesn't mean as much, basically, right? Why do we see Russia as an enemy? I think we're a little
salty over the election in 2016 and the WikiLeaks, all the hacks and stuff. And
there's been a number of things.
They seem to have turned.
You should hack better.
So what is Merkel? What are her views on Russia and Putin in this pipeline? She seems in favor of it, right?
That's not really clear because they also want to kind of punish Russia for Crimea and the Ukraine crisis and also with the things with Navalny. But again, Angela Merkel's pretty quiet about that. About punishing them. Yeah, she's not talking like, oh, they are bad and so on. She's like, come on. I mean, there are sanctions since 2014. And so the oil price went down anyway. So Russia's suffering anyway, so why we should do more?
So she just doesn't really keep her opinion. Like she doesn't really. Does she like? It doesn't speak about it either way. Is what you're saying? Yeah. Another one example. Does she tweet or anything? Like is she? No, she doesn't tweet. No. Our real poker player.
Trump doesn't tweet.
Yeah, she's a poker player.
So what's?
Yeah, Trump doesn't tweet either. So much in common.
Let's get into her politics a little bit. I was surprised to learn. As Kaplan and I were saying, the way she's covered in the U.S. is like the left wing, the CNN, MSNBC, these type of people love her. And so they'll comment on when she does something good. Okay. And then Fox News doesn't cover her at all because most Fox News viewers, I would imagine, don't care. They're more interested in American politics. They don't care much about the world politics. And so she's either covered positively or not at all, which means we kind of get nothing negative on her. And pop culture has kind of decided she's a big liberal. But when you look into it, she's really not. Can you talk about just her history?
Really. I think she took over some socialist ideas of a socialistic party and put them in her conservative party. So that made her more acceptable in the brighter population. But what made her so popular was the thing when she said, "We can do it. Wir schaffen das." When the refugee crisis was at the peak in summer 2015, when like over 1 million refugees came to Germany, and then everybody's like, "Oh, she's so nice," and so on. It is nice, it is cool, and that's a reason why a lot of people like her. But also, she didn't say how how we can do it.
Because you were taking in over 500,000 people a year, right?
Yeah,
refugees. So she just said we can take them, but she didn't say how. So that was 2015, but she got into office in 2005. So was she's been really popular the whole time?
Well, we had also the financial crisis, 2008, 2009, and managed kind of smoothly through it. So they made a good job.
Okay. Just for the record, so she's pro. Looking back, this is what I've researched. She was in favor of the Iraq War in 2003. She's pro-business, or at least she was when she started. You could tell me if she still is, but meaning like lower taxes for small businesses, for companies, maybe not as much on the side of the employee, but on the inside of the employer, right?
The one reason why Germany is so successful at the moment is because the wages didn't went up in the last years. So they
did not go up.
No. So, and kind of now people feel it, they work more, but have less money. The rents went up a lot in like bigger cities. In Berlin, try to get an apartment in Berlin, it's horrible. So all these smaller steps, and the richer got richer and the poorer got poorer. But still we have like a social net that, so you don't die.
Okay.
But still it's more favorable to the companies and cars.
And car manufacturers.
Yeah.
Well, that's
for example,
the car.
Some years ago they supported green energy, so these windmills and stuff and so on. There were 80,000 jobs and so on, and then they stopped the support for that, so you got no tax-free stuff and so on. So the kind of the industry went down, and now people protesting, for example, against coal, because coal is the biggest CO2 producer in Germany. And they're like, no, we have to keep these jobs. They're important. These 20,000 people are more important than 80,000 people working for green energy. So it's, it's kind of, now it feels like she's more working for the people age 60 plus.
The boomers. Okay. The boomers.
The boomers. Yeah, it's boomer politics.
Well, her other boomer politics move is when she brought in the refugees, I know she said, I was just looking at stuff that wouldn't fly with the left wing of America right now. Whereas when she brought in the refugees, she also said that it's up to the refugees to figure out how to become German, how to learn German, how to fit into German culture. I just know right now, if you said that in America, with like if you said the refugee, like the people can come, but they have to speak English, they have to be American. There would be pushback there from that.
The same in Germany. They also have to, but there was not real help for them.
Yes.
That was the problem.
How would it go? Like, were some of the refugees removed to other countries eventually, or was that the original plan? Or
the one who came 2015, 16, most of them went to Germany.
They stayed in Germany.
Yeah.
And has there been any issues from that as far as?
Of course.
That leads to more nationalism, right? I'm assuming.
Of course, there's more nationalism, and they're like idiots saying that we have no more rapists and so on, and they don't know the culture, and they have this macho culture, and they want to destroy Christmas, and
they have a war on Christmas in Germany. I love it.
We have a war on Christmas.
They have more kids than Germans, and then you can say like, well, then fuck more. So make more kids. So just
spike there.
It's so weird. But that's it caused the also nationalistic movement.
Yeah. And first of all, let's I think this is a good time, Kaplan, to take a break. We're going to take a break right now and hear a word from your local sponsor. All right, we're back. That was great. Thanks to them. Okay, next question. Oh, she's also pro Israel, it seems.
Yeah, like Germany, like general. always.
Okay, so Germany is all, so that's not controversial in America. That's controversial if you're pro-Israel or pro-Palestine, but that's not a controversy in Germany.
No, like the far left in Germany is anti-Israel. I would say it's like
Similar.
it's a weird mix between guilt and
Sure.
And of course it's if you're a bit more into it, then of course then you don't like the politics of Netanyahu and stuff. But still kind of support Israel.
Mm-hmm. Understand. And what about the EU? So it seems like she's like the leader of the EU, right?
It's because Germany is the richest country at the moment. And that's why they have the money, so they can decide. And Germany is also rich because they're poor European states. Because they're poor, we can be rich. So that's kind of...
Not everybody can be rich.
But that's the big problem with especially 2009, the financial crisis with Greece and so on. That was pretty mean what happened there. But it's profitable for us.
What happened there? What happened with Greece?
Well, they had the debts, the financial crisis that Greece had no money anymore, and then there was money from the EU, and then a lot of people said like, the Greeks are lazy and so on. They take all
in
the
Germany.
money from yeah, that's completely weird. But then the Greeks said like, well, you destroyed our country in the Second World War. We got no money for that. Thank you, assholes.
They were sitting on that for a while, huh?
Yeah.
And it's a bit more difficult. I want to make it short. Just before Greece got the euro, there was like a deal that the economy doesn't have to have like a -3% of increase of the economy. So so there was like your economy had to have some strength so it could join the EU. And just 1 year before Greece joined EU, the economy was pretty bad, but magically the numbers were different next year and they could join the EU. So when the crisis started, the Greeks said like, well, we knew that we're already fucked up. So don't blame us, blame the politicians who did that.
Yes.
So it's all.
So it got tricky. So then does she she's leaving in September, it seems like. Now, is there any way she would stay up? She's not like elected leader of the EU or anything like that, right?
No.
Yeah. So there is no real leader of the EU, right?
No.
Okay. And so is there any way she would stay on with doing stuff with the EU, but not with Germany, or is she just done?
Could be. I don't know. I really don't know what she's going to do afterwards. I think it could be that she just goes in her house and says like, goodbye, people. I don't ever want to see you again.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
You raise a point though with Brexit just happening. We have the sense that Germany's sort of going to run Europe now, right? I mean, that's
of course.
General. Yeah. So you think she'd want? You think she'd want to stay around for that? But I guess her successor can handle the riches.
I don't know. Maybe it's like the moment now we're taking over Europe in a nicer way than we tried before.
Yeah.
And
tried it one way, tried another way.
Don't mention the war.
Wow. So is it good for Germany as a country that that Britain's out of the EU, or is it bad?
It's bad because there's so big connections with the people, traveling and trade and so on. It's pretty stupid. Pretty stupid.
Okay. And do you see it as 100% Britain's fault, or was there more that could have been done? I mean, I'm just, devil's advocate. Is it 100% their fault, or is there more that could be done on the other side?
Boomers' fault.
Boomers. Blame the boomers.
It's fun to blame the boomers. Makes us feel young. I love it.
There was so much misinformation and so on, and that's now a tool in politics, and it's used in social media and everywhere, and it fucks up people's minds, and they go crazy. And I've something now when I go on Facebook is always the 50+ people who are like very, well, you can change their mind pretty easy with a meme or something. They're like, oh my God, I had no idea. It's just a meme. It's not facts.
Well, I think it's because you're taught. I think we all used to be taught that you believe what you read. I mean, in some way, newspapers in the old days were facts in our minds, or you watch the 6 o'clock news at night and that's the real news.
Yeah.
What you're learning is real. And so if you're young enough, you can understand the switch. Also, I think younger people, we've been on the internet for 20 years, 25 years. I think boomers, a lot of them have been on the internet for like 5 years. And they're maybe not 5, maybe 10, but either way, a lot of them were new to Facebook. I know like friends of mine's moms got a Facebook account like 2 years ago.
Okay. And fake stuff gets them.
Well, we got it 20 years ago. And so we saw it evolve and devolve into chaos. They just jumped on and this is what it is right away. And they're like, whoa, I read this thing. It must be true.
Should never have taught the boomers to read. It was a huge mistake.
Should never
if I had a time machine.
They're still in power. I'm blown away that the reason, Stefan, why we're blown away that Merkel is retiring is because in America, it's illegal to run for president until you're 75. That's like the minimum age that all these guys are. At least the ones who are winning, they don't win until they're in their mid 70s. So to get out already,
was she the first female? I didn't look this up. So is she?
Yeah.
Who's been a chance? Okay, so that's glass ceiling there. So want to add it to the list.
Are we gonna miss her very much? Even people who don't like her, they're all gonna miss her.
Yeah, what's gonna happen now? So what happens now that she's gone?
Well, we have now there are 3 candidates for the Christian Democratic Union, become the leaders of that party, and who maybe want to become the chancellor. And one guy is Markus Söder. He's from northern Bavaria, but he's not Bavarian. He's Franke. Very important here, but no one really cares outside of Bavaria, but whatever. And he's kind of, he got now this profile of a crisis manager in Bavaria because of coronavirus and so on. But still, he's a conservative, how do you call it? I don't know. Living in the past.
He's very conservative.
Would you say socially conservative? You mean like abortion and drugs and stuff like that?
Yeah, kind of that.
Not a fan of the gays.
Legalizing drugs, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we drink shitloads of beer, and then when you ask them, like, why is not beer illegal? Because it's more harmful than, cannabis or something. They're like, well, we have no idea.
Bavaria.
I mean, if Germans stop drinking beer, I think that's when you give up on the world.
It's going down a lot.
Really?
Germans drink less and less beer. Yeah. There's more alcohol-free beer, and I, for example, drink light beer.
You have light beer in Germany? Because I remember Germans used to make fun of the idea of light beer.
Yeah, a lot of people make fun of me because of that.
Yeah.
But I'm a young dad, so I can't drink normal beer anymore. So
it does. Kids, I'm a dad as well. Kids kill your ability to handle process. Yeah. Do you have to? So politicians, do they have to show they're like a man or woman to the people? Do they still drink a beer with the?
Yeah, that's a classical German thing. When in Russia you have to ride topless on donkeys or something, but in Germany
drink vodka.
You have to drink 3 liters of beer in one sip, and then you're like, oh, he's one of us.
That's what our presidents have done that in the past. Obama had a beer summit. He made a big deal, but he would drink like 1 beer. He would call the press and the media to come take pictures and videotape it, and then he would sit down with one of his enemies, and they would each drink 1 beer and talk for 10 minutes, and they'd be like, "Look,
summit.
We had a beer together. We're normal people just like you." Deep dot, deep dot, deep dot, deep dot. These robots.
I feel like Hillary Clinton tried that. It didn't. She was campaigning. It just didn't come off. It didn't work.
Nothing worked for Hillary Clinton, I think.
Can lizards drink beer?
Yeah, exactly.
So, as a moderate, she was a moderate from the right side. From the right, she was prime minister successfully for 16 years. In America, just 3 months ago, or maybe 6 months ago, there was a big talk that Biden wouldn't win, could never win, because moderates don't win anymore. This idea that you have to be super far left, or you have to be Bernie Sanders, or you have to be Trump, basically. And those are the two polar sides that can be successful. And then Biden won. And then it became pretty obvious that, all of our presidents in the last 30 years, except Trump, have gone towards the middle, whether it's Clinton from the left, Bush from the right. they've all kind of gravitated towards the middle to win, and Merkel's done the same. Does it look like Germany is now going to go to the polar sides, go left, super right, or is it going to be another moderate again? What do you think?
Yeah, that's the problem, because there is no candidate who is moderate enough.
So they're all kind of reactions against Merkel.
So all the candidates from Conservative Party are like, for the majority of the population, too conservative. I mean, the older people like them.
Yeah.
But then from the other parties, it looks weird. I still don't know who we're going to vote.
So what are the policies, for example, if you say the people too conservative, what are their policies? Like just a couple of the big ones.
I don't know, to put women behind the oven and no, not like that. That's crazy. But it's not.
You're really
it's
tempting
the
me here
feeling that they don't progress. It's a lot of change in the last years. Green energy, the computer, internet, and everything changed, and we can see the problems we have now because of that. For example, homeschooling doesn't really work because there's not enough good internet. In Germany, we're Germany, and you go in some places, there's no Wi-Fi. There's no. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? You go to Lithuania, and they have everywhere access to good internet. And all the time, I'm like, oh, but we built the best cars. No, we don't anymore. It's shit. It's just making dirt. And so there's the mindset is not on 2021. So it's still 1980s or something.
I see. And what about?
And that's my opinion, and that's what I would say a lot of people my age see.
We have people on here to get their opinion, so there's no apologizing for your opinion. What about the left side? What are their that seems too far out? That's kind of their ideas.
It's still pretty small, the left-wing party, and the left-wing party is more in East Germany also stronger.
Okay,
because of the communist past.
Well, they always say that, but it's 30 years ago. So it's they're young, new people and so on. But
they're like a 25-year-old, and they're like, it's just my culture.
It's my culture to be. It was only a 50-year period, but it's my culture.
I think the left party is more social than the social party was or represented that idea, and for example, they're against war, against selling weapons to the world, and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, and what about because a lot of Germany's success under Merkel had to do with partnering with the region, right? With free trade, freeing up trade, and all that kind of stuff. Does that seem like that's going to continue?
Yeah, I think so, of course, because that's how we make our money, with a lot of trade and stuff, and also also like getting cheap labor from European countries, and they come here and they work for nothing and they have no rights. It's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
Because
that's the old school reason you take immigrants in. That's what it used to be before. Labor.
Yeah, but the immigrants here, like most of them are not allowed to do anything. Now, for example, in Berlin, there are like 3.8 million, let's say 4 million people living here, and 800,000 are like former migrants or like migrant background, and they're not allowed to vote. They pay their taxes to work here, but they're not allowed to vote. So, because they're also afraid of these votes and these, so they get a voice and can say like, hey, can you change something and make it more that we live here, we pay taxes and so on. So even Helmut Kohl said, we are not an immigration country, even though Germany was an immigration country since the 1950s. So I don't know. I'm pretty nervous about September.
Yeah, it seems like to me that she's an outlier, Merkel. The idea that someone like maybe more liberal people would vote for her because they just are comfortable with her. Now, just her uniquely, they're not going to vote conservative, and they're going to vote for some.
She was special. She was like she got the votes from the left and the right.
So you're just like us then. We thought maybe you were going to teach us how to be moderates, but apparently Germany's just the voters.
Get rid of the guns.
I'll talk to my people in Pennsylvania, but they're not going to like that. They like their guns.
I don't know.
I had a tour in America, and I had some weird meetings with people. And we went from New York to Miami, and we did like 25 gigs. I had no working visa. That's illegal. So,
statute of limitations.
And that was interesting. I had some encounters with people who had really no idea about Germany.
What were their questions?
I mean, I was standing in front of somewhere, I think in Durham or North Carolina, somewhere in North Carolina. I was standing in front of a bar having a cigarette. And one guy came like, "Hey, I heard you talking. Where are you from?" "From Germany." He's like, Germany. I love Germany. I hate the Jews. And I was like, "What?"
Whoa.
I was like, "Excuse me?"
What?
And it's like, "Yeah." And he tried to hug me. It's like, "Hey, but we stopped with that." So
Yeah, that's our old policy. Here's a pamphlet for the new Germany.
It's so weird. So weird encounters. And I did some gigs and talked about Angela Merkel, and like everywhere, the audience was like, "Who?"
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They don't know. Well, our listeners know. You got to come back and do a tour, but just for our listeners, because that's the market we've zeroed in on.
Do you know? I should mention, since we brought up I'm from Pennsylvania, that we have the people in Pennsylvania called the Pennsylvania Dutch, and you know why they're called that? Because they were Germans and they came over to Pennsylvania, and the idiots there thought they said from Deutschland, and they thought, oh, they're Dutch. So they
still call them Pennsylvania.
And they still call them that. They don't even. It's like old German.
Well,
So,
you
yeah,
still
we're
call
not-
Indians.
Yeah, we do. But
True.
Nah, I say Native Americans, but that not German.
I think most people have moved past that, but you're right. Not too far in the past. What about am I pronouncing his name correctly? Armin Laschet?
Armin Laschet.
That was close. That was
That's
pretty
the
close.
successor.
I didn't
Yeah,
know if
it's
it was Lachey. I was going to go French.
No.
but
You say
I-
Lachey, I say Lachette.
So is he going to be, because he's the one that Merkel, it seems like,
No.
has picked to be the successor to her,
No,
right?
No.
He's not going to win.
No.
Why?
And
Just-
why?
Yeah.
There's no profile. He's like just, Laschet. I don't know what to say. I don't know the word in English, but a douche.
Oh, another douche.
So it's just,
A lot of douches in your country.
for example, his son made a deal with a company who produces masks, and he made promotion for them, and his son made the deal. So the state where Laschet is the minister president bought for millions these masks and stuff, and his son made the deal, and it's kind of really no, he won't be.
So he's the Hunter Biden in that case.
I was going to say, it's a little Hunter Biden-y.
Yeah, kind of, but no,
He'll probably win with that president.
if he wins, I don't know.
Crony capitalism.
It's not possible.
Yeah, he's, just for our listeners, he is the one that Merkel has picked to be her successor. He seems to have no real agenda or concept. It's just to
Or spine.
keep going with Merkel's policies, right? It's just whatever she did, just kind of keep the boat moving forward. That's from what I've read, that seems to be his platform.
It's always the what you can do if you, after Merkel, what you're going to do. You want to keep the status quo, and that's what you want to tell the people. Like, everything is going to stay the same.
Yeah,
But time changed. A lot of we saw now in the crisis, in the Corona crisis, all the problems we had, and they built up in the last years, and we have to solve them. We can't do status quo and keep on going like that. It won't work. So the
How do
one.
you guys have election? Oh, sorry.
No, the one part who's like very unhappy with Merkel and the also refugee crisis, the right wing, they want to. Anyway, they also tried to storm the Bundestag, maybe, a parliament building.
Wait, did they really?
Really?
Yeah,
When?
in August last year.
Oh, we ripped them off, our guys.
That's where our guys got the idea.
And you know what
Coup
happened?
stealers. Not when
Three policemen stopped 10,000 people.
Really?
And did the police have guns?
No. I mean,
The
one
police-
guy had a gun, but there were three policemen in front of the entry. Said, "Hey, go away!" And they're like, "Oh, we can't do anything." That's why when it happened to the Capitol, we were like, "Haha, we just needed three policemen."
What,
you guys, they like
how does-
hypnotize them? You will not do the storm the Capitol. Go back.
Yeah, go back, go home.
is that just how polite Germans are? The guy said, "We can't let you in." They went, "Okay, sorry," and they left.
Well, they were not armed, the protesters.
I know, but these guys didn't use their weapons either.
Okay.
They
They just
pushed.
stormed it with force. Yeah.
Well, they always talk there how hard they are, and we're gonna fight and so on. We stormed the Bundestag and so on, and then there's three policemen with a tiny gun in their hand, and like, oh shit! So
Oh
That's
yeah, I did.
amazing.
See, now I'm remembering. I did see that when it happened, and yeah, I thought so. They didn't even get in. Oh, so it was reported here like you had a big. It was a big far right act. It's
The
that.
problem is you didn't have the Q
Yeah.
shaman.
Yeah.
He would have got
You know
you
what?
in.
We don't want to team up our Q with your far right. That would be a dangerous combo. So
what's the best case? Obviously, the worst case scenario is if like the far right win, or one of the far fringes wins. What's the best case scenario for you after Merkel?
I can't answer that question.
You mean you don't know, or it's you
I
don't
would
want?
I would answer like Merkel.
Just something similar to her.
Yeah, just saying nothing.
Wait, why?
Says nothing.
Are you afraid to say because it would be a divisive?
First of all, in Germany we don't talk openly about your own political, which party you're going to vote and stuff.
Okay,
we don't talk about that.
Okay,
That's
okay.
But I can say I'm never going to vote for Nazis.
You can say that. That's good to know.
Is there political comedy in Germany?
Yeah, it's called cabaret, not cabaret. It's cabaret, and they're just talking about. Oh, last week this party said this and this. They're all stupid.
Sounds like Bill Maher.
It's horrible.
It's really bad.
Conservatives walk like this.
I mean, sometimes it's good, but mostly it's just like it's a boring shit.
I mean, it's terrible in America too. Political.
We hate political comedy here. It's kind of Trump really ruined it. So yeah.
It's telling the people, oh, look, these idiots and your audience are so good. And they're like, yeah, I'm so clever. I get it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
No.
You know my issue?
Even if all the political comedians would say something against one party or something, the people would still laugh about it and still vote these idiots.
Yes.
Right.
So
my issue with it is that it's the root of comedy, I think, is it's the twist. It's like taking something, leading the audience one way, and then twisting them and leading them the other way. And political comedy doesn't do that. Like the minute Stephen Colbert says the word Trump, he's then going to say something bad about Trump. So there's no surprise in it. Do you know what I mean?
But you can't surprise German audience because we don't get sarcasm.
Ooh.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Sometimes after the show, like one person came up to me, was like, did it really happen to you? It's like, no, it was a joke. So you were lying? I was like,
wow. Yeah.
That's what the British audiences say about us. They go, Americans don't understand sarcasm.
Oh, no, Americans definitely do.
I'm like, Americans, maybe they get us mixed up with Germans.
Yeah, the Germans are pretty bad with that.
I'm now remembering I've performed for German audiences before. It's very difficult. We have
now a very big discussion about cancel culture and so on, and what is allowed to say and what not. And
oh boy,
some of like satire shows or something, they're getting pretty nervous because they're afraid that they get canceled. And it's like freedom of speech. And can I say that? We have now the N-word discussion.
In Germany,
we also have like why can't say that? It's like because you don't
really?
Say
in Germany. Oh my gosh!
Well, in Germany, it's
we had a show. It went on air in November, and then the repeating of the show on TV that sparked bit problems because there were 4 white people talking about racism, and they're like, and me, I'm a lady with blonde hair and big boobs. I also get, racism, and people say mean things. And it's like, like kind of that.
Well, and in Germany, you have a history because you're not allowed to. I mean, Holocaust denial is obviously against the law, and there's other things. There's like there was hate speech law set up a long time ago.
Yeah.
So it's easier for you. We can't. In America, it's harder to. Like by law cancel, but
but it's now a new thing that, for example, you're not allowed to say like Zigeuner, like which city in Roma, gypsy.
Oh, you're not allowed to say gypsy?
No.
Oh,
I mean, you're still allowed to say it, but there's now a movement who says like, hey, we should stop using these words because they're just very offensive. They're like, I never experienced racism, so it can't be bad.
Oh, you can't say I was gypped.
Kaplan, don't say that.
That's what I'm just saying.
Now Kaplan's getting canceled in Germany.
Yeah, well.
There goes our German tour. That's a picture. We used to say that. That used to be a word that was very common to say in America. If someone cheated you out of money, you would say, "Oh, I got gypped."
I mean, I said it yesterday, so I don't.
But in Germany, Germans killed like over 500,000 gypsies in the concentration camps. So,
right. So it's a little different.
I see.
And,
so
I didn't. The German word is Zigeuner, which is an old word, which like from the Untouchables, and they got this word tattooed on their skin. So
Yeah.
It's a
little
bad
different.
word.
That's a
Yes.
little more real.
That's what I was trying to say. Like because of experience, they have actual laws that were set up. Yeah, so it's cancel
It's
culture
like
becomes literal.
I try to explain it always. You can't go to a woman and just say hello, cunt. So
Yeah.
that doesn't
you
work.
can, but it's not
You
a good
can.
strategy.
Yeah,
Not
so-
gonna
Well, that's
get you far.
that's the thing in America. You can actually say anything you want, but then everyone else also has the freedom to say anything they want back to you. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
Of course. But here's more about I don't know. It's for me the discussion is a bit weird because I work with words and I want to say sometimes some stuff.
Yes.
And people don't get the context anymore. They just see a word or a sentence and they pick it out and then put it on Twitter and there's a shitstorm going on. It's like, did you saw the whole show? Or what it was
I
trying
know that's
to
why
say?
in America now you can get fired for if you say one of those words and get context of talking about a case where somebody said one of those words.
Yeah.
Or something, or repeating
The
a
same
song,
thing
and
happens
you get
here.
fired for that. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
So people get pushed into like cupboards like, oh, he's racist. He said that. It's like, no, just listen to the whole thing. And
Yes.
yeah, there's no
see the bigger
context
picture.
anymore. So
stand-up
disaster.
comedy wise in Germany, I've heard there's the scenes, like there's some people who perform in English, and then there's the German language scene.
Yeah.
And they're pretty separate. Is that right?
No,
okay.
in Berlin, the English and the German scene is kind of mixed. Like years ago, it was mainly the English scene. The German scene was pretty small or like a bit separate. And then some of the Germans who went to the English scene started their own German shows, and they became a bit bigger and bigger. And they like underground wise, they're pretty big now. There are comedians who are not so much on TV or something, but still they have like 1 million of followers. And, when they...
Wow. With
they
no
play in front
TV
of-
help.
Yeah, with no TV help. For example, one guy recorded a big show, like solo show or a special. And then a big TV company wanted to buy it. And he's like, no, I'll wait till Netflix will gonna come. And he sold it to Netflix. So like... going not with the mainstream media normally used, going other ways, and they're pretty big comedians.
I mean, I think the mainstream media, most places, is dying as the internet is.
That's where I
taking off.
perform.
Oh, on the mainstream. Well, I mean, I just say that because they won't put me on.
I do it. I'm not so known. I just do it since 10 years or something. So
I don't know. I've seen your videos. You have like hundreds of thousands of views on all your stand-ups.
Yeah, but step by step.
Yeah. Anyway,
Modestly.
it's great. So, the scene. How old is the German stand-up comedy scene? I know it's very old, but old in the format that we do it. Kind of the
like stand-up comedy kind
modern-
of started at the beginning of the 90s.
Okay.
That's where it kind of started, and there were a lot
That's
of people.
pretty old.
Well, it took a while, and it didn't change for a long time. A lot of it was like having a wig on your head and
Yes.
talking like this.
Is the style different in the East and the West, or is it similar?
Not anymore. It became stand-up comedy. Changed also. There's a new generation. It also mixed with the poetry slam community. So some poetry slammers became comedians, and because they know how to write. Comedians don't know how to write. They just, I have a joke, cool. And then the poetry slammer comes like, I wrote a book and I have hundreds of jokes. Like, but we can talk better, and they have to read their shit. So
Yeah. Plus, I've seen poetry slams before. I've seen one guy who was really good, and then all the other ones. I guess you could say this about stand-up comedians.
Bad poetry slam is worse than bad
Bad
comedians, I
poetry
would say.
slam is. There's nothing worse except bad improv is the only thing worse than bad
improv's
poetry.
lower. These are the levels of bad.
It's like on your grandma's birthday. It's like, Grandma, I made a poem for you. Like, no, just go away.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
It's no good.
Hey, speaking of poetry, I have one question. That Mike, do you? Because you're a father now, are schools in Germany? Are they still 6 days a week? Because that's what they're teaching my kids. They were just teaching them about Germany the other day. I was
5.
watching this 5.
Kaplan's kids get the worst info from
We
their
get the worst
teachers.
education. We're getting a Zoom. They were doing a Zoom lesson on Germany and what it's like to go to school in Germany. And they said, my kids came off, my daughter came off the thing and she said, can never move to Germany. I said, what are you talking about? She said, they go to school 6 days a week. I don't want to live there.
I went
And
6
I
days.
don't know if that's
In
true.
Russia, I went 6 days. And on Saturday, we had swimming and playing chess.
Whoa.
That's pretty good.
That's how you learn. I like that. But that was in Russia.
Yeah.
And now you're on the 5-day schedule?
In Russia, I don't know. But in Germany, it's 5.
In Germany. We're not moving to Russia. So, okay. There you go.
One last question. So do you speak Russian as well?
Da.
So do you do stand-up in Russian?
I did in Berlin some years ago. But I also performed in Greek in Athens.
Wow. How many languages do you speak?
5.
Pretty good.
That's the Germans. Smarter than us.
No,
Always.
why? Why you say that? That makes no sense.
That's how we view it. You work
You
harder.
just see
you're
one
smarter.
German who speaks 5 languages. The Germans.
The fact that you think your cars are shit is really news to us. I think we still hold them in high esteem. So, have you seen a Ford?
You ever driven a Geo Metro?
Yeah,
I have no driver's license, and people think I'm retarded in Germany.
Whoa! You can't, that's a word you can't say in America.
Oh, I had no idea. So,
Yeah, see, look at that. So if you want comedians who like to say the R word, you can go to Germany. Look at
The
that.
R word.
I had no idea. It's my 3rd language. Okay, I'm speaking to you in my 3rd language. So
The R word, the G word. We're doing it all over here.
Doing it all.
All right. Well, that's the episode. Thank you so much, Stefan. Everybody check them out online, especially if you speak German. That'll help because the jokes are in German. But do you have any English language stuff online?
a little bit, yeah, on YouTube.
All right, cool. We'll check that out too. Thank you so much. I love the fact that your country still has the culture that you don't talk about politics in public. I wish we had that. That was the old days. Now it's the opposite. That's the only way you get famous is by talking about politics and
viral. Wait, nobody makes a video imitating Merkel, and she becomes like a huge internet Twitter star by just lip reading what she says. That's not a.
Who's the Sarah Cooper of Germany?
There's no business there. No.
Oh my gosh! All right, that's it. Thank you, Stefan. Kaplan from what should we do?
I gotta take my kids want to go
Kaplan,
sledding.
Wait, stop! Tell people what shirt you're wearing here.
Oh, this is not German.
It's not German? I thought
it's from Portland. It's the closest thing I had to a German shirt. It's got a beer mug on it.
Oh, Lord. All right,
well,
Cap,
not only a beer mug, there's a bit more in it.
Yeah, there's a hammer and sickle.
He's like a drunk communist.
It's trying to be German communist. It's from Portland. It's our communist. That's our East Germany in America, Portland. So I bought this in Portland once. I thought it was the closest I had. So I went with it. And yeah.
What should we do, Cap?
Let's get lost.
Get lost.